back, everybody. So we're down here in the shop. We're working on the Fox, trying to go ahead and get the engine completed for it. My goal for it today is at least get these heads torqued down and maybe the timing cover components and stuff on it, and get it sealed up to where I can actually set it over here, cover it in plastic, and we can start going ahead and finishing out some of the body work on the car. So that's kind of why we're waiting right now, because I didn't want the debris or anything in here, you know, just because we have to do everything in one shop right now. Yeah, we've kind of outgrown this shop, but we're working towards something on that later on. Now, here's what we got going on the heads. I have already got this one torqued down. ARP recommends that you start out in 3 equal steps up to 70 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this head torqued so you can see how I do it. I am using ARP fasteners. I think I've used ARP for everything on this engine, to be honest. But update as of right now, we've got roller lifters, roller rockers, and we've got a full forged bottom end with forged pistons and our rotating assembly. So it's going to handle some power. Yes, it's going to be a nitrous engine. I think you guys are going to love it, and I can't wait to hear this thing fire up, let alone hit it with the first spray. But that'll be coming soon enough. So let's go ahead and get this torqued down and get this show on the road. Okay, so I have my torque wrench. I've already got it set on 25 pounds. So I'm going to start out in the middle here, which is 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. So that is our torque sequence. I'm going to go ahead and get it started. 25 pounds is really not much, but that's just kind of how we're going to step it up as we go. 25, 50, and then the final step will be 70 foot-pounds. There's 25, 25, and there's 25 all the way around. Now I'll go ahead and loosen this thing up, take it on up to 50. All right, there's 50 foot-pounds on the dot. So now we'll do the same thing here, just up to 50 pounds. There's 50. There we go. Now the final step, we will take it on up to 70. All right, there's our 70 foot-pounds. And this is where it gets a little tough. And there it is. worked all the way to 70 foot-pounds. So I've got my timing cover. I'm gonna go ahead and get it on the engine here and get this sealed up. So this actually has the dowel pin, so it does kind of make it nice. Just line the dowel pins up here. Actually, I do want to do this first, and that's I want to put just a little bit of oil around my seal ring so it doesn't stick here. I've got some single lube already in here. I'm just going to oil this ring up. That way I know for a fact that it's not going to bind when I go to the open crank. That one's pretty well in here. We'll get this bolt started. And that bolt's almost long enough to start, but I needed a little bit of persuasion with my plastic hammer. Just it on there. Get my bolt. Okay, so I've got the timing cover on it. We're in good shape there. We'll go ahead and spin the engine over and start working on the oil pan next. But first I want to show you this. Right here's the reason why I sent that off to the machine shop, because these ports were absolutely just tiny. I mean, look at this thing here. Let's turn this camera where you can see it a little bit better. But these ports, I can get 2 fingers in here now. Beforehand, I'd be lucky to get my thumb in it. So that's how constricted these were. And when I took the heads apart and initially looked at them, they were full of carbon and buildup where the engine just couldn't breathe, you know, get rid of the exhaust, because it's got, you know, big valves. Even on the exhaust side, it's a much bigger valve than you would see in the 302. So that's why I use the 351 heads on these. These are the DOOE heads, which is 1970 passenger car heads. And that's pretty much similar to the GT40. Is actually what the GT40 was cast after, but the GT40P heads don't actually flow as good as these when you open them up. So these will outflow the GT40Ps, but the thing is you have to put hardened seats in them and hardened guides, because these were, you know, leaded fuel heads. So that's the difference right there. But let's go ahead and get this engine spun over and get the oil pan. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tighten the pan down. You normally start with the 4 corners on it. And I'll go back here and I'll tighten the rear up. Well, folks, I am waiting on parts again, so I decided to go ahead and weld in the tubular front radiator support. I think it's going to hold good. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's got it covered. So, but let's go ahead and check this thing out. So there's the tubular support. I cut out the old one. I got the new one welded in. Yeah, I think this is gonna end up being a lot lighter on the car too. So, but as of right now, like I said, now I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this engine bay cleaned up a little bit and hopefully get some paint on it so we're actually ready for the engine. Once we do get the parts, I can set the engine in and I can start doing some of the other body work on the car and just put plastic over the engine and you know, get it done. So let's make it happen. Okay, so a little update here. I'll show you what I got going on. If you notice, I've already got everything pretty well painted underneath the hood here and in the inner fenders and all that. So now you have a pretty good idea what we're doing with the car. I'll probably have to blend in on it so it matches the rest of the car, but we're pretty close right now. But not 100% exact, but when we're done with it, you won't even be able to tell. Now, what else we've got back here, I've already started on the rear quarter. We've got this out of it. There was a little low spot here. We got that fit. I'm almost done with that. I just gotta smooth it out. So that's just kind of what we got going on here. Once we get that feathered out on that end, and this, hopefully, we'll have some parts come in and we can finish our engine and start getting some of this stuff in the car. So that's kind of what my goals are at the moment. And of course, we're waiting on parts. But, so everything is going really great on this car right now. And other than a little surprise we found on the other side, and I'll show you that here later on. But got that fixed. Pretty well got this side where I want it. Now I'm up here working on this cowl right here. And I'll show you what we got going on. So something was apparently dropped on this right here, and I cut out this little piece so I can go ahead and start banging all this back up to where it would have been. And then that way I'll have to run a little seam of weld right here and then grind it back down, so that way, you know, it'll flush itself back out, because this was tore. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, so let's do it. All right, so I got my slide hammer. Here. Oh. I'm in trouble getting my arm back in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Actually worked out fairly decent. It's a little low right here. Okay, so we've got that just about where it needs to be, and now all I've got to do is just weld my patch back in it that I cut out and put a little filler on it. You'll never even know it was ever there. You know, like I said, I try to get the filler down within, you know, 1/16 of an inch or less. So that's, I believe, what's what I've accomplished here. But unfortunately, folks, it's all we got time for today. If you want to go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, you'll see what we got going on the next one. We're going to be hopefully getting the engine in this car, and shortly thereafter, and it runs. So go ahead and check us out. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode.